Hey guys, I'd like to remind you at the front of the video, if you could please leave a like, if you could subscribe, and if you could leave a comment, it would be greatly appreciated. It helps the channel out quite a bit. I am Adam Snow, and we are about to talk about the HBO Max original film, The Fallout. Following the tragic events of a school shooting, high schooler Veda is trying to figure out how to deal with the trauma. This exploration of her grief, fear, anger, and continuing development as a teenager all combine for an emotional experience. Now, I'm not going to lie to you guys, I never really had this film on my radar, but it was upon kind of being on HBO Max, checking things out, that I stumbled upon a new movie that was about to come out called The Fallout. Didn't know much about it, watched the trailer, and needless to say, it seemed pretty heavy. And I figured it was on a Thursday when this would come out. There's nothing really locally in the theater that I cared to see, so I was like, you know what, I'm going to do a straight-to-streaming movie, see how that goes. And I couldn't have chosen a heavier, harder-to-watch film than The Fallout. It was a very tough movie to watch, and I'm not going to lie. It's really well done. Don't get me wrong. Very well done movie. The subject matter, one that is really sad that we have to deal with, and it is a real issue and problem in the United States especially, but all across the world. People have experienced this, and boy, like I said, it's not an easy watch. Here in Michigan, we had a school shooting that made it all over the news not that long ago. The exploration of the post-traumatic aspects of this is what really made me wonder about this film, because it could have gone either way. It could have been a great portrayal of it, or it could have just been a really bad, sad attempt, and I'm very glad to say it was the former rather than the latter. You have Jenna Ortega, who is the lead of this movie, playing Veda, and she was actually just in Scream, the new Scream, a couple weeks ago, which I saw, and she was one of my favorite parts of that movie. She was in the opening scene, and I thought she was great, so I was a little surprised to see her in this, playing a high school student yet again, and she knocks it out of the park. This is a great, sad, emotional performance she gives, and she carries this movie. It's so intense watching everything she's dealing with, going through the aftermath of a school shooting, losing people that she knew, trying to connect with people, her family. It gets quite emotional at times. And yeah, I ended up, needing a box of tissues at one point. It just burst out of me. It's very emotional. It's very tough, very tough to sit through. And, it's only an hour and a half, so it's not like it's a big, long commitment. But I do think they delve into some really good, interesting aspects of, dealing with this. And they, with her character, show her using a lot of, drug use. And being a teenager, she still hasn't experienced sex. She hasn't done a lot of stuff. And so when you see her experimenting with drugs, you're seeing her find new, different ways to try to cope with this pain she's dealing with. It just gets really uncomfortable at times. You seeing her just kind of stumble through and try to put on a brave face and try to get through, just life in general. But it's just this incident just keeps haunting her and creeping in a lot of different, spaces. And boy, I can't even imagine what anybody who's ever had to go through this has gone through, and the aftermath of that. It's quite troubling. It's quite sad. And, several points you see how the ripple effect of something like this, that one person taking the lives of a handful of people, and how that just ripple effects out, from the closest connected to, the next layer of people in their lives, and just how it just reaches out and affects all these people, all these lives, all these relationships, and muddies the waters, and makes people question themselves. Veda does that a lot in this film, and I think, like I said, Jenna Ortega does a stellar job. Another standout from the cast is Maddie Ziegler as her friend Mia in the film. She does a great job as a confidant, and she's like a popular kid in the school, that Veda is always kind of idolized, and they never really talked, but because of this incident and where they were when it all went down, they've kind of formed a bond through that, and maybe more. They really hit a lot of really strong notes here, and I think the real disappointing to this is and I hate saying this, I think they could have even pushed things a little bit further. It's definitely not a perfect movie. I think it's a well-written movie. I think it's a well-directed movie for sure. Good supporting cast. I think they also touch on this, and I wish they would have delved into this more, maybe focus on more than just one person, because they show the different sides of how people would react to this. You have like Veda, who is she becomes a shut-in. She doesn't really want to do anything. She's kind of wallowing around, laying in her bed all day, won't go anywhere. Then you have like her friend, I believe his name was Nick, and he kind of takes the approach of going to the news outlets, saying they need to make change. All this, he's her best friend. This puts a strain on him because they've just taken two totally different, not approaches, but they went about the aftermath just in completely different directions. Boy, it's, they could have really dived more into that kind of aspect of it, how, multiple people were dealing with things, and they like lightly touch on things, but the main focus is on Veda. She is the focal point of this movie. And I know for a lot of people, if you decide to watch this, this might not be your cup of tea. It is a very rough watch. The subject matter alone will probably turn a lot of people away, which I understand. If you want to see just good filmmaking and real intimate story, character exploration of this girl dealing with this trauma, I highly recommend this. But I think you could find something in this. It's emotionally powerful, moving, and at one point there's even the character I want to talk about is Veda's little sister. So Veda's little sister is essentially who gets her out of class. Like, they're texting about something that's happened, nothing major, but they're texting, and Veda's like, oh, little sister problems, ha ha ha. And then, everything, the tragic incident starts going down. Throughout the movie, you're seeing the little sister trying to reconnect with her sister and trying to get in. She doesn't really understand it. She can't comprehend everything that her older sister's going through. But there is a point in this film where I really lost it, where the little sister just kind of, tells Veda how she feels about, like, it might have been her fault, and it wrecked me. It really was a phenomenal scene, and really big gut punch. I feel bad. The rating I'm going to give it, because it doesn't mean it's a bad movie. It's not a bad movie. It is a good movie, well done in so many aspects. But I'm going to give it a solid B. I do really think it missed some opportunities. I think they had a lot of characters who kind of came in and out of the story. It should have been a little bit more of a player, but with an hour and a half runtime, they didn't really explore as much as I think they could have. But they also prevented it from dragging on and feeling like it was just a bigger, longer emotional slog. And so I think the runtime was perfect for it. Like I said, I just wish they would have balanced some characters around instead of just focusing on Veda. But what they do with Veda, I liked quite a bit. And Jenna Ortega is a standout in this film. She's got a bright future. I think she's going to be a name a lot of people will be familiar with at some point down the road. Like I said, I've seen her in Scream. I've seen her in this now, and she is fantastic. She definitely caught my attention with her performance. I look forward to seeing whatever it is she does next. I definitely would like to talk to more people about this and just get their opinions on it, see what they feel. I'm not disappointed that I saw this at all. Is it going to make it to my top 10 at the end of the year? Probably not, but this will still be one that I'll go, dang, I remember just losing it and just bawling my eyes out at many points. And just thinking about it right now, like, man, it stressed me out, and it really emotionally got me invested in this film. And I'm glad I got to see this, and I'm glad HBO Max put this out. Probably would have been better in theaters, but hey, what can you do? We live in a world where some stuff is just going to go straight to streaming. So it is what it is. Again, guys, if you could leave a like, if you could subscribe, if you could leave a comment, if you've seen the movie, are you interested in the movie? Are you not interested in the movie? I'm very curious about your thoughts about this. Let me know down in the comments below. And I guess, that'll do it here, guys. And until next time, I'll be seeing you.